Hello everyone, it's Jason here with another show of W3 Wisdom with the amazing Yashar Ghaffarloo. Now, say hello to everyone, Yashar.
Hi.
Hi. Now, Yashar, help me out here. What is the correct way? I said Yashar Ghaffarloo. Is that correct way of pronouncing your name?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, good. Because I didn't want to call you the wrong thing, because it'd be like calling you Fred. And Fred's not your name. But we're here. We're going to audience and Facebook, and we're broadcasting live at facebook.com/W3Wisdom. Excuse me. I'm going to be drinking tea and puffing on my vape thing, and Yashar's going to share his knowledge and his wisdom that he's gained over, although limited in years, extreme knowledge that he's gained within the SEO industry. Now, I've known Yashar a little while, not that long, a year or two, I think. Yashar, you can help me remember roughly how long it is. But, so, Yashar, tell me a bit about yourself. How old are you?
I turned 16 on June 22nd.
Well, happy birthday to you. Sweet 16. I remember that. It was nearly 30 years ago, 28 years ago when I was 16 years old. But I envy you the years that you have ahead. But also, I think that your wisdom within our industry is way beyond those physical years. Now, Yashar, you're not an average... I don't think you're an average kid. I don't think you're... I don't even think of you as a kid. I just think of you as someone that I speak to, chat with, and we trade war stories. And where we can, we sometimes help each other out as well. But what I don't know is more about you as a person. So, Yashar, tell me and all of Facebook.com all about you. You're 16 years old. You live in Michigan, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. Do you go to school? College? What?
High school.
High school?
Yeah, I go to high school.
Okay, so tell me, what's your high school like? What's it like being this internet entrepreneur and still being, to be frank, a kid in high school?
Well, finding a balance is tough. I'll be honest with you. When I come home, I do homework until like 12-ish, really late. And then the only time I get to focus on my SEO stuff is after that.
Wow.
And it ends up, I need sleep usually, but it ends up working out. I can manage them both, but it's not an easy task to do. I go to a very competitive school. It's ranked number 2 in the US and number 1 in the state.
Sorry, let me just butt in there. You say that I'm not used to this school ranking things. Like I say, it's many, many, many years since I went to school. My kids are much smaller than you. So that the international rankings and things like that isn't something I actually look at too much quite yet. But you say that your school's ranked number 2 in the US. What do you mean by that? What school is it? Is it an amazing school? Is it Dr. Xavier runs it, or what?
So the rankings are actually not, they're from the US News, and there's different rankings. There's some of them like from Forbes, and like other ones like US News and World Report, and then either way, we're always top 10 in the US, but it always fluctuates from like number 2 to number 5 to number, but we're always end up being top 10. And the highest ranking is number 2, and we're always ranked number 1 in the state.
Okay, so
they're not like...
That ranking, is it academically we're talking about? It's
Right.
the highest grades that are achieved anywhere within the state and up to position 2 in the US, depending on what ranking we're talking about.
Yeah, it's based on academics and tons of other things. I mean, to be honest, our school's building, like, we don't have, like, it's a great school academic-wise, but the school, like, has, like, bad funding and stuff like that, so it's not a good building, but the school itself is actually a great school, and lots of great teachers and great students and great content.
To hear. Congratulations. I can't imagine it was the easiest school to get into. Was there any criteria that had to be hit academically for you or otherwise for you to be able to join that school?
So yeah, there's a lottery that you have to get into. It's basically random, and I think 100 or something, I don't know what the number is, but it's a low number of people get inside. After you pass the lottery, you take a test, and if you pass the test, then you're enrolled in the school.
Okay, so you're in one of these amazing schools, part by talent, part by natural ability, part by luck with the lottery. You happen to have your name pulled out of that hat, but I presume Others had to suggest you, whether it be former head teachers or academics, etc. So congratulations. And you
Thank you.
chose, well, it's deserved. You chose to end up in, or you stumbled into at such a young age, the online marketing industry, specifically playing with Google's algos. How did that come around?
The actual origins are unknown. I have theories, but I'm not actually sure what, when, and where. I like to think that I ended up on a forum called the Botnet, which is a automation forum, and people were talking about different gaming servers and gaming the system and tons of things. And then I met someone, and we started a gaming server, and then he wanted to get more players and visitors to it. So he mentioned SEO. I wasn't really sure what SEO was. He gave me a quick, very, very watered down version, like what you give to your parents when you tell them what SEO is, And I became very interested. I'm like, oh, I thought Google like chose by themselves. It wasn't like you can influence it. And I was like, oh, I can influence, like if someone searches this, I can make it my site come up first. That's fantastic. So I dug into it day one. I went all in, and the month after, this guy just disappeared. I didn't hear from him after that. But I was very interested in myself. I joined a few forums. I got banned very, very quickly off. I think every SEO forum, every marketing forum, I'm banned off of because I used to troll a lot. I still do troll a lot. But
look, when all's said and done, you're a 16-year-old boy. Trolling is part of the DNA as those testosterone kicks in. It's natural. But let me ask, you say you were banned. What was the first forum you got banned from and why?
Black Hat World.
Okay, you've been banned from Black Cat World. I know the forum. I remember when they launched, actually, and know the founder. What did you do? What was it? I said, no more Yashars allowed here.
So let me just say that it's a great forum. I still work on it, but I don't have an account there. So I got banned by me and my first partner, Hanson. So we started a service, an SEO service, and we were trying to get affiliates before we launched.
Okay.
And I was using my account. I sent like 100 PMs to people asking them if they want to be affiliates, and I got banned for PM spam.
Okay, so nothing too aggressive, but you broke the forum rules and you got caught. So it was you were testing the boundaries, and they beat you rather than you beating them. It was a learning experience for you. And so you ended up launching a service, you were just saying there, and you're looking for affiliates. What was this service? 'Cause I didn't know about it.
It's called Authority Plus. It was a very short run. It was like a couple months. But basically we had a network of links that we basically had SAPE and other types of links that we would resell, and we used automation. People bought, we got all the fancy graph rankings, and we gave them the links and the metrics and all that stuff and made it look really nice, and we overcharged a lot for it. I was in charge of the actual dirty work. I wasn't in charge of I received a very, very little cut of the money actually, and then it ended up costing me more than I actually made from it. But it was a good experience.
Well, it was a learning experience, and you moved on from that. I think this is where I became aware of you. As there was a product launched with your partner back then, Wyatt Chakowski. And Wyatt, if you're listening, I apologise if I've mispronounced your name. I'm sure Yashar will correct me if I have. And you launched a product called Dripway, related to expired domain names and the link value that there is within these. First off, tell me if I pronounce Wyatt's name correctly, and secondly, tell me about that time and how you ended up working with Wyatt.
So me and Wyatt, the way I met Wyatt was Cloud PBN, and I forgot what it was exactly, but I found some bugs in his software. I let him know about it. And we built a relationship. I ruined that. I was kind of a douche. I ruined the relationship after I sold Dripway, my share of Dripway to him. But it was a good experience. I built Dripway up until like April, May-ish. I think around April is when I mentioned it to him. He liked the idea. He was helping me a bit with it, how to make a nice landing page and all that stuff, give me tips and advice, and he ended up getting very interested in it. And I gave him, as a newbie would, 50% of the company that I built the past year. Spent my own time, spent developer money, all that stuff. And he marketed it. The next month, we had a webinar that we did $30,000 in recurring sales the first webinar, which is, thank you, I was very shocked. I was like, wow. Unfortunately, after the first webinar, things went downhill. Affiliates, didn't push it as hard as we wanted to. there was another software on the market called Source Revive that was absolutely uh, that's where all the affiliates were flocking to because Alex Becker he's a great guy. I used to hate him at the time, but he's actually one of the. I'll be honest with you, Alex is probably the best person I've ever met online. He's such a genuine guy, and although what work out, he's the most genuine guy I've ever met, and I'm so happy that I met him.
Okay, so you mentioned a couple of things there, and one of them was workhorse, and I'll come on to that in just a moment. But we were speaking about Dripway here, and you're working with Wyatt, and ultimately sold to Wyatt your share of the business. You sold it back to him, which is fine. You know, business is business. It's there to be bought and sold as an asset. How was Dripway? How did the customers treat Dripway? They love it. Was it revolutionary at the time? Because I thought it was. I have. Let me make it clear to everyone. I have a competing product to Dripway as it launched there. And when I saw that Wyatt and Yashar had launched Dripway, I actually messaged both of them and I said, "Look, congratulations, guys. Well done. I was hoping I was going to be first to market, and clearly I wasn't. And you know, congratulations on launching your product in this expired domain name space."
Thank you. I thought we were not live for a second. This is showing on Facebook that but we're live.
No, we are live. We are. Yeah. Let me make it clear. We are live.
Yeah, I got a text saying someone we weren't live, and I was like, "Shit!" And then we're live, so
no, we are live.
It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah. So the experience was it was actually a great experience. I liked it. It was my first actual step into the industry. The first day was a pain. I was dancing around, jumping around, running outside, so happy that we had 30K in sales the first day. I was like, man, all these support tickets and these people that don't know how to use it, that aren't watching the videos. I was like, I want to get out of this as soon as possible. So we hired support staff. It went pretty good. There are some customers that were just so, you know, with all due respect, just so unintelligible, and I got a headache from dealing with customers. And there was just one guy that bought the biggest package, disputed, and made a video called Dripway's a scam, and he lost his dispute. And it was just a huge headache after that. And, you know, all in all, it was a great experience. But
okay, well, let me ask you this, Wyatt, because I want to keep you away from potential areas that may cause you issues down the line. And so I'm going to butt in and just stop you just there. But to ask, if you could look back at your time launching Dripway and creating it and working with Wyatt, what's your biggest learning that you got from that?
Don't burn bridges.
Okay. And so you said just before that you burnt a bridge with Wyatt. And so Wyatt may be watching. And if he isn't, I'm sure someone can say. Is there anything you want to say to Wyatt?
Not like specifically, but what happened was, after I sold it, we had a disagreement, and that's why I sold it. Okay. And we parted ways. And then after that, I was angry about it because disagreement, and then I was just not rationally thinking, and I just said stuff that I shouldn't have said. And then,
so what I'm hearing, I'm gonna butt in there, is you're effectively saying, Wyatt, I made a mistake. I was angry. I'm sorry for that. Am I right or wrong? I don't want to put words into your mouth, but is that what you're saying?
Yeah, at the time I was. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah.
Water has flown under the bridge, and it would be good to touch base again as friends. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, that is.
Good. Right. So, as I say, let's move on from Dripway. You learn lots from that, and remember that at the time you were 14 or 15.
14, yeah.
You're 14, you know, when I was 14 years old, I went to the park and swung on a swing and had a crafty cigarette behind the bike sheds at school. And if I was really lucky, I got to feel the girl's tit. You know, I didn't do stuff like you're doing. You know, I was a 14-year-old boy, an average, ordinary boy. You're an exceptional 14-year-old boy, and now you're a 16-year-old young man. Things have gone on. The percentage of time that has passed as your total life is so much bigger and larger. For me, 2 years is like a fart. I don't realise it's happened, you know. It just goes so quickly. But that's because I'm old and I've got grey hair on my chin, on my head, and I've got a fat belly. I was out with my family yesterday and there was a photo as we were watching a breakdancing competition. And my missus, Katrina, she took a photo and I saw it. And you've probably seen it too, Yashar. And it went on Facebook and I thought, shit, I look pregnant. You know, old age comes to us all. I've got that big fat belly. Anyway, right, I want to carry on because I want to keep you away from, but I want to focus on you, but I also want to stay away from some of the areas. I'm just saying this live because we spoke briefly before we went live, but also I think the audience needs to recognise this. Yashar is 16 years old. And so I'm going to be there partly to extract the information and wisdom and knowledge that he's got, but also to protect him because he's 16 years old. And if he gets to that stage where I think it might be getting a bit dodgy, I'm going to stop. And that's what I just did there. Are you okay with that, Yashar?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Cool. Okay, right now, we spoke about Black Hat World. We spoke about Dripway, which, again, I still doff my hat to you. Black, of course.
It's funny you mention that because I'm wearing a Dripway shirt right now. I bought like 20 of them.
You got a Dripway shirt on. There we go. Look, everyone, he has a Dripway shirt on. Now, I'm going to show off my shirts. There we go. Now, if there's any Brits here, they may remember Postman Pat. I don't know if it was syndicated over to the US or not, but there's an online internet artist called Jim. Jim will paint it, and he uses Windows 95 to create images and art, and it was paint in Windows 95. Well, someone requested Postman Pat as Heisenberg. So that's my T-shirt for the day. Right, anyway, right, let's get back to it. We've spoken about Dripway. We've spoken about, you're even wearing the Dripway T-shirt, as we said. You go to one of the highest ranked schools in all of America, somewhere between 2 or 10, depending on what rankings we look at, but definitely the highest rated one in Michigan. You're there through talent, through education, through skill, and that special something that's in you. But then you ended up doing Dripway. You had this big influx of money that, let's be honest here for a moment, most adults aren't used to coping with and having, you know, let alone at the time you're 14, maybe just turning 15. What do you do? You've got all this money. You've potentially never had it before. Maybe you have. I don't know. I don't need to know either, so don't answer that. But what do you do with that money? Do you decide to double down and go again? Or what? Tell me about it, Yashar.
So, I know you have yours in the gambling industry, and after the Dripway money, I wanted to start a Bitcoin casino. And that didn't work out. I just learned all the regulations and all that stuff, and it wasn't rational. I wasted a couple $1,000s getting a designer and theme and everything before we even thought the rationality was. So I lost a lot of money there. After that, I personally spent a lot of money just buying tons of stuff that I shouldn't have bought. I bought like a $3,000 laptop. I bought 3 of them, actually. Tons of stuff that...
3? How many hands do you have to type at once?
I bought a huge setup. I bought tons of stuff that, you know, was a waste, of course. But I'm like, oh, you know, I have money coming in. I don't, you know, this is this week's income. I don't have to worry about this, right? You know, of course, looking back, that wasn't the smartest idea. But at the time, you know.
It's your money. You can do with it what you want. And that's the decisions you made. But what I like is that you look back with the benefit of hindsight and go, yeah, okay, it was good at the time, but... You know, so you've learned from that. Now, you've got this money, you've bought this laptop, so you splurge loads of cash on the things that you want. And we all do it to a degree. It's human nature. We covet, you know, the things that are in the shops. I've bought lots over the years, less more recently, because I'm poor man, you see. And then you go, okay, I need to do something again, because I know there's other things that you've done. How did you go from that position of saying, I've got this money, I've bought these things, I like this stuff, but I'm going to carry on working within the online marketing industry? Did you decide to try again with another product? Did you decide, I'm actually going to do SEO and rank? What was your next decision?
After that, I got into trading. I put a fair amount of money in my... I can't legally trade, so I put it under my dad's name on his account. And I did very risky trading, but I made some pretty good plays, and I got a decent amount of money after that. And it's just sitting... Right now, it's just still sitting in my account. A lot of it I haven't touched. I mean, I started another project after that. It was software that was for surface chart manipulation.
I'm going to dive in there. So we're speaking about trading. When we say trading, I should say that I was one of the guys that brought to market one of the first spread betting and CFD contracts of difference style products that's out there now, and I'd love to chat a lot more about that. But before I do, you're going to have to bear with me, because my screensaver's kicked in, which is a real pain in the arse. I'm sorry about that. But we'll chat more about that. At the moment, though, we're about 20 minutes in. We're just going to cut to an ad break. When we come back, Yashar, we're going to speak more about the trade and then moving on into the things that occurred once you made all of this money buying and selling shares. Is that good with you?
Sounds good, yeah.
Excellent. Right, everyone, bear with us while I click some buttons and we go for an ad break. By the way, I should say before we go to this ad break, the adverts for TDN, that's the.domain.name. Well, we spoke before about Dripway doing $30,000 in its opening weekend. This is the competing product. Now, if you work in SEO...
It's pretty good.
Well, thank you, Yashar. And that's the guy that made the competition that says that, so that's really kind. But look, we're going to go to the ad break. We'll be back in just a moment. This is Fred. He's a busy SEO. But Fred hates link building. And outsourcing it is too expensive, low quality and time consuming. Fred needs an answer. A scalable link solution. The domain name has just the thing. Fred wants powerful domains, scalability, great prices, speed of action, and huge data. Whether 10, 1,000 or 1 million sites, you choose your domains. Add them, and then in 24 hours or less, your network is complete. It's that simple. Exclude the bad words, include the good, and just search. Then click. Through an easy interface that's quick to use, with vast data. It's a network in a flash. It's the fastest link building program available. It's truly international and the final cog in your SEO machine. Saving you money, building your profit, and launching your business to the moon. It's a thumbs up from Fred. Come sign up now with a special offer with a free trial. And we're back. Thank you everyone for bearing with us while we had the advert. That was from TDN, the domain name, the.domain.name. Go sign up, give me all your money. I promise you you'll be ranking soon. Anyway, enough of the ads. Right, so Yashar, just before we were speaking about trading, and you got into trading. So when you say trading, what do you mean by that? Was it stocks? Was it shares? Was it
stocks?
Was it leverage products? Or was it just literally buying and selling?
It was buying and selling. I mean, I wanted to short, but when you short stocks, the losses can be more than you actually have in your account.
Sure, which is a leverage product. So you weren't using a leverage product. No. Okay. Now, I know that you ended up running a website, and I think you still do, wallstreet.org, is that correct?
Stocks.org and wallstreet.org. Me and my partner Hanson, we ran those sites. Right now, they're not as active because we have other bigger projects, but they're both Google News listed, and that's where most of the traffic was coming from.
Now, they're amazing domain names. I mean, they're not average domain names. They're amazing domain names. How did you stumble across them? How did you get them?
That's all on Hanson. My partner, before all that stuff happened, Hanson was the guy that got all the domain names. He had everything set up. I kind of came in after, and we worked on the sites together. But he was mostly the one that's in charge of all the Google News listing and all that stuff. He taught me all his tricks and stuff. But all the big stuff that happened on those sites is all the credit goes to him.
Okay, well, Hanson, I don't know you. I look forward to get to know you because you seem like a very talented man as well. But we've covered shares, we've covered the stocks. You were buying and selling, and you did very well. And I, again, doff my black proverbial hat to you. But you ended up launching a software project down the line, and there was lots of hype around there, and quite rightly so. And you and I spoke about this product where there's some teething troubles in the early days, and this product, you ended up working with a guy that you mentioned just before, Alex Becker, and it was known as Workhorse, and you ended up giving it away for free. Tell us what happened there. Tell us how you ended up with the idea of the software, how you ended up working with Alex, and what occurred. I'd love to hear all.
Yeah, so I built a site out after the SEO drip boy. I built a site out in an unconventional niche and doing very well. And I was bragging about the analytics on the site, like, hey, look at this. The site's doing awesome. And I'm friends with Gregory Ortiz before I met Alex, and he was interested in it. He messaged me. We talked about it. He's like, you think this can be made into a WordPress plugin that does all this, but made for local? And the site that I built out was far from local. I'm not going to mention the niche. I think you already know the niche. But it was far from local. And he made it from a huge command line software into the idea of having a WordPress plugin that does all this. And we built it. And there were definitely some problems along the way, because I was building it happy coder, and some things came up. I talked to you about them, and I was panicking, and then we found an issue. The issue was the software was building posts, but it was using WordPress functions that WordPress is very, very heavy on the server if you try to post via. So we changed that up a bit. It ended up working very well.
And so let's talk about. I just want to again stop you there. Let's talk about the software. For those who are listening that aren't aware of what Workhorse ended up becoming, or even the history, what did WordPress do? I know what it does, but I don't want to put words into your mouth. But can you explain the functionality and the outputs that you ended up when you use Workhorse on a website, and not the traffic, but the quantity and style of pages it created?
Right. So Workhorse, basically, you give it an input. You can say, I want to make a page about plumbers. Here's the content. Here's the spin text. Here are the locations I want to target. Here's the schema for the page. And it will make posts customized based on what we tell it to do, and it'll build bulk posts. Okay. There's features like adding images and drip feeding and all that stuff, but the meat of it is building bulk posts and pages.
And did it do that on locations, or was it just based on any topics it would go off and expand that keyword set from just plumber to every plumber keyword you can imagine, or was it just locations?
So up until like 3 weeks until the launch, it was only a local plugin. Last minute, lots of non-local affiliates contacted me like, hey, can this be used for Amazon? I'm like, it can, but not really.
Sure.
And we modified it. Huge props to Stefan Hacker. He is a good friend of mine. He helped me when I was in Atlanta at the time, so he helped me a lot of the tedious stuff, I had a headache trying to figure out the problem. He figured it out for me. We ended up making it for local as well and for affiliate, and we added the list feature, which basically you give it a list of things and it'll post all lists.
So I'm going to summarize what you said. It was a software project that you can easily add it to any WordPress website, and when you entered in your keyword, your real big money word, and we'll say plumbers, but it could be anything, it would auto create based on the rules that you gave it loads and loads of content and loads of pages to try and capture that huge long tail that would be available for all of the locations in, say, Michigan, or potentially the whole US, or any other country theoretically around the world, and the other areas related to that industry and those keywords that you put in. It was a long tail related plugin. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say, yeah.
Yeah. And now, for those that don't know, the old saying is that it's the Pareto curve. 80% of the traffic that's ever going to be available is going to be from the head. But the tail goes on forever and ever and ever, and it never ends. And so if you can capture that tail, it may only be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 searches, but you multiply them up. That's a lot of traffic with quite little, generally, competition. So if you can automate the building of that, that's a lot of traffic that's available to you. And when it's as simple as just clicking a few buttons, it had a lot of potential. And so that's what Workhorse was all about. And there were similar techniques there to be frank, long before you were born. We'd been building things along those sorts of lines. But this is the first one that I was aware that was in a WordPress plugin, other than 2 or 3 predecessors that weren't quite as polished, and I mean that politely to them. But anyway, this was going to be a massive launch, and you had a marketing partner, Alex, and you decided ultimately to say, hey, you want to give back to the community, both of you, and so you gave it away for free. What was the thing that made that decision of you and Alex to say, rather than taking the cash out, which you'd have made a lot of money, you decided, actually, we want to give back to the community. We want to, the community has been very good to us over the years. We want to give back to the community and to give them the product.
So the initial goal of the plugin was, I mean, at the time I didn't have a need for, us to make 30K, to make 100K. That really wasn't the driving factor for me, because at the time I had more than enough money that I knew what to do with. So I guess you're trying to make, it was Becker's last launch. He said he wanted to make an impact the first day. He wanted to make an impact in the SEO industry and leave his legacy on. And a week before launch, a week and a half, I had a huge project that came up, and it was with another partner, and that was a huge opportunity that I either had to do workforce stuff on, sure, or take on this opportunity. And while workforce was great, this is the thing that I was doing was more of a long term.
Sure. So you had to plan. Again, I'm going to stop you there just for a moment. Just don't want to put words into your mouth, but I just want to play back. You had another large opportunity, and it was your decision to say, hey, you need to focus on your long term, because when all said and done, you're 16, you're not my age. And so the long term planning is much more important. And Alex's goals were about personal legacy within the SEO industry as he exits that and goes on to other things, whatever they may well be. And so it hit both your goals to say, actually, if we give the product away, we gain the legacy for Alex, and for you, you don't get bogged down with the support and everything that goes with that. So the financial goal wasn't what drove you both. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say, yeah.
Okay, great. Now, I'm just going to very quickly dive in, because someone just pinged on the BHC group that said that I said that a certain product wasn't polished. Let me make it clear, I wasn't specifically talking about any individual product, but the technique as a whole, whether it be WordPress or not. But there are techniques that have been around since the age of the internet, and some are more polished than others. But anyway, let's get back to this. So there was Workcourse, and I don't know how many downloads it's had nowadays. Do you have any numbers for me?
I think it's like 9,000-10,000, something along that line.
So it's at least 9,000-10,000 or so webmasters, web designers, SEOs out there using your product, and potentially on more than one website. So you've gone from nothing to it's out there onto tens of thousands of sites, delivering hopefully the traffic and the long tail rewards they wouldn't have otherwise had. So again, doff my hat to you and to Alex there. Well done, well done. Now, you're 16 years old. You've done SEO. You've launched Stripway. You've launched Workcourse. You've made loads of money buying shares and stocks. You said that just before you're at Atlanta. Now, I know why you're at Atlanta, but tell the audience, because I think it's really important to hear.
Yeah, so there's a thing called FBI, which is Future Business Leaders in America, and we made it to Nationals, and Nationals were in Atlanta, and so we had traveled to Atlanta for like a couple of days. I think it was a week or so. Decided to change, stay there a bit longer, and so went to Atlanta for FBLA. Ended up staying a bit longer, and it was fun.
Okay, let me dive in. What is Future Business Leaders of America? I'm a Brit, and I'm an old man Brit. What does Future Business Leaders of America mean?
So it's how to put it into words, I don't know, but it's basically
You're a
organization.
Future Business Lead for America. You must have the words. I know you do.
So it's basically a club that you learn about business, learn about all the things. You can choose what angle you want. You can do global business. You can do entrepreneurship. You can do whatever you want. E-business, whatever. There's tons of different categories, and you take tests on it. You give a written speech. You give depending on what the event is. There are different requirements, but it's Basically,
Okay.
you show them what you have. And
Okay, so
you
you're
test.
going there to present along with some colleagues from school, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so together you build a business plan or a project and you present as part of this club, and because you've been picked as a group along with all the other schools that will be attending there
Quick
as well.
correction, there are different events, and
Okay.
there's like individual ones, there's partner ones. I did a partner event.
Okay.
The one that made me qualify for nationals was actually me presenting what Dripway was and what Dripway did, and I got first place in the state, and that's what I went to nationals.
Right.
At nationals, I did global business, which was completely different, and that was a partner event. So there's different events.
Okay.
Some of them are individual, some are partner.
But it's been fair to say that you were identified as the title says, a future business leader of the US, and you're doing this at such a young age. So I doff my hat. But enough hat doffing. I'm not here to blow smoke up your arse or vape juice anyway. And I'm here to learn about Yashar the person, Yashar, what's happening. But more importantly, going forward, what's the future got for you, Yashar? What's going to be happening? Or am I going to hear in years to come that you're at an Ivy League university, or that you've sold out to Elon Musk or something? What do you think your future will hold?
I like education a lot,
Okay.
but I'm not at this point. I'm planning to. I'm not sure what college I want to go to yet, but I'm definitely going to continue business. But I'm not sure what college I want to go to, what route, what major. That I haven't decided yet. Kind of leaning towards business. Kind of leaning towards law. I don't know. I'm not really sure at this point, but. And whether or not what major I do, what happens, I'm definitely going to continue my business, definitely going to continue SEO, definitely going to continue everything that I'm doing right now.
Well, it's good to hear you're keeping your options open. I think that's a good shout and a good decision to make. Now, let's get back onto SEO. Let's talk about search. This is what brought us together. It's where the products that you've created and the work that you've done has all been around traffic and the Google algorithms. Even way back when we first started talking, and you said, you stumbled into it, but you liked the challenge, the reverse engineering of seeing how to manipulate this third-party website that happens to be Google.com. If you were to launch something tomorrow and you had the money in your pocket, and I'm hoping you don't have a big fat wad of bills, but just the money in your pocket, you'd buy a domain name, and then what would you do? That's all you've got. You've got to feed your proverbial family. What's the techniques and tricks, and what is there what's it take to rank, Yashar? I know you can rank, so tell me. Are we talking just create great content, or what? What is this SEO? How do we deliver the rankings we all yearn for?
So if I were to start a site from scratch, when I start sites, at least nowadays, I go big, I go all in. So I have 2 sites right now that are main, and I have like 3 or 4 side ones that are doing fairly well. But the numbers depend on how I want to categorize it. But two big ones right now. How I would start a new site: buy a premium domain name. It doesn't matter what it is, whether you want to pay $5,000 or come up with a cool brand name yourself. I like to choose old domain names with age that have no incoming links and no history on the actual site.
Okay.
Buy an old domain name, whether it's for $10 or for $1,000. Buy an old domain name with no history at all. Next thing I would do is buy very, very, very high quality content. Now, I think me and you have differences here. You think as long as the content's good enough, it passes. But for me, when I work on a site, I like kind of like buying a good domain name. I'm more motivated to work on the site when it has a good feel. I'm confident in what the site stands for. So good content by two.
Let me make it clear. I don't think we do have a difference of opinion. I think the majority of the time, good enough is exactly that. But on your money site, your pinnacle, your jewel in a crown, it needs to be as good as you can create it. And putting aside money for a moment, which is generally the thing that holds back, it's either money or time. That you do the best that you can, but the best that you can when you have resources available to you is generally going to be higher than those if you don't have the resources available to you. So great content is a prerequisite in my opinion. And then, this is what I think. I think links help a little bit. Tell me if I'm right or not.
Just a little bit.
Okay, so tell me.
Yeah, so I was kidding there, by the way, how links are very important. But after building the site out and getting the content Next thing I would do is probably, since I don't have what I have right now, starting from scratch. Right now what I do is put in my social signal promotion bot, which would basically generate millions of social signals, but I can't do that. So,
okay, stop. I'm going to butt in because the reason for asking the question isn't necessarily about what you say, but what I can pick up on and grab and pull a little bit further on as I unravel that yarn. Now, you said you've got a social signal promoter thing. Did I hear you right, or?
Yes, you did.
Okay, tell me about it. Can you tell me about it? You may not be able to. Tell me if you can't.
I can physically, but I don't want to.
Okay, that's fine. You know,
I can give you like the skinny. Basically, we have Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus. Google Plus is a bit difficult because before you could do unlimited signals per Google Plus account.
Sure.
Within reason, I think you could post 4 times per hour and plus on that post. But basically, Google Plus, they changed recently. Okay. So back in the day, you could post with one Google account. They could post with a URL on it and plus one that post. And that would count as a +1. No longer is that the case. Nowadays, you have to actually create a new account. And there's a way you can squeeze 2 +1s out of one account, but it's all complicated. It's all tedious. So we have our own bot that makes accounts and bypasses the capture and bypasses all that stuff.
Right. So let me just make it clear. You have a Google Plus account creation thing that bypasses the Google capture. Does that mean there's a flaw there that others may be able to look for, or?
It's not exactly a flaw, but
I don't stop me. If you want to stop, we can stop. You're in control here, not me. But you've got to make the decision.
So the specifics I don't want to share, but yes, there is a loophole, if you want to call it that allows you to make accounts with no SMS verification or CAPTCHA. Okay. And there's simply Gmail accounts at that point, but you can convert them into Google Plus and whatever you want, depending on what you pass in the request. You can include YouTube, you can add YouTube, you can add Google Plus, but by default they're just Gmail accounts, but you can change that. Okay.
Right, now I'm going to stop there because I think I've probably pushed you a little bit too far. However, let me say this again to you, Yashar. We are live here. You can stop me at any point if you feel uncomfortable. Tell me to stop because I don't want to abuse that relationship that we've got. And also, to be frank, the age difference. I don't want to be a bully. At the same time, I do want to gain the information from you. That's the reason you're on the show. Now, I'm going to take a break. We're about 43, 44 minutes in. We're going to go to an ad break, then we're going to come back. And I'm going to dig even deeper. I hope that's okay. This is Fred. He's a busy SEO. But Fred hates link building. And outsourcing it is too expensive, low quality, and time consuming. Fred needs an answer, a scalable link solution. The domain name has just the thing. Fred wants powerful domains, scalability, great prices, speed of action, and huge data. Whether 10, 1,000 or 1 million sites, you choose your domains. Add them, and then in 24 hours or less, your network is complete. It's that simple. Exclude the bad words, include the good, and just search. Then click. Through an easy interface that's quick to use. With vast data. It's a network in a flash. It's the fastest link building program available. It's truly international and the final cog in your SEO machine. Saving you money, building your profit, and launching your business to the moon. It's a thumbs up from Fred. Come sign up now with a special offer with a free trial. And we're back. Thank you for bearing with us while we had that ad break. Now, Yashar, I was pushing hard just before, and I probably went a little bit too far, so my apologies for that. But now, we're here, we're back, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. I want to know that if you were sitting here and interviewing yourself, what's the question you'd ask yourself?
What is the... If you were link building, what would you... I mean, mine's very black and white, but link building, I'd go deep.
Okay, well, let's talk about link building. I do link building through expired domain names. Everyone knows that. There's no secrets out there. You've just seen the damn ad of Fred promoting the benefit of expired domain names. I truly believe that it's the best value that you can find for the money that goes in there. But I'm also conscious it's not the only way to do link building. What is the ways that we should be looking out there, new techniques or even old ones to acquire links?
If that's okay, I'll disagree with you there. I don't think that expired domain names are the best. I mean, they used to be, but now at least they're not the best bang for your buck.
We definitely disagree. We definitely disagree. But that's fine. So tell me, if they're not, what is?
Do I want to share this? Okay, well, I'll share it. I mean, it's not.
You don't have to. You're sure.
Secret. I'm happy to share it.
Okay,
I'm happy to share this one. This one is not proprietary. It's not like a huge, awesome method, but give some background at least first. We both know that there are sites that offer link rentals for like $500 a month that are very, very high authority. Like, for example, off the top of my head, geonames.org, vim.org, the text editor. They offer links. You can buy links, but they're very costly, like $600 a month. What we're doing right now is we're going to Ahrefs, Majestic Top Million, exporting all the domain names Top Million, removing all that don't include the .org extension, so basically only .org domain names, and doing outreach and offering to sponsor these organizations for $10.
Okay.
We message them, hey, I'm interested in this cause. The VA goes on the site and sees what it's about. Hey, I'm interested in helping save the trees. We're happy for everyone to know that this business, our business, is very happy to save the trees. Would it be possible for you to, if we donate, $50, $10, whatever it is, for you to link back to us or give us a link or a mention on the front page of your site, so people know that we're happy to donate, and other people can do the same. And you'll be surprised. People say yes, and the yes rate and the cost for us to do that. And these are sites that have the same authority as the $500, $600 a month rentals, and we're paying $50 one time. And there's no outbound links on the sites, and it's absolutely nuts. They add it on the homepage, like within the content. These are not the greatest sites. They're like pure HTML, bare bones, an image, a couple lists, nothing special.
Sponsorship and sponsor programs is an old technique, and it works really well. And I'm glad to hear that you found a new spin on that by exporting and trying to do it not just at 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 links, but by doing it in a much larger scale. It's a great way to build links. There's no two ways about it. And so thank you, Yashar. That's a great technique that I'm sure that many of the people who are viewing now are going to dive off to their majestic Ahrefs, probably not moz.com accounts, but then good link products that are out there. And they'll be exporting and trying to garner that, not just in the .org space, which is where you said, but even looking at it from a country level. If you're here in the UK, you'd search for co-UK as an example. If I was in, I don't know, Spain, it would be .es and so on and so forth. So Yashar, go ahead.
The reason that we do .org is because these are organizations that are run by like 50-year-old women that are happy to get any donations, and they're naive. They don't know the value of the link on their site. It's worth $500 a month, but we're paying $50 a month, and they're ecstatic about it. So these organizations that are nonprofit, and they think that people are supporting them, because they're happy about the organization. And while that's the case, they're naive that the link on their site is worth so much, and they don't know the link value.
And I agree with you. It's taking advantage of those organisations to a degree, because you're still giving huge benefit that they're very happy with. So it's actually morally a very good thing to be doing as well. But of course, you get the benefit of those links that has a monetary value that may not be achievable within the budgets that you set for that project or plan. So well done. What else? If I could say, Yashar, give me a golden nugget of info. I don't want to pull too much. I don't want to keep pulling that yarn, but I don't want it all to unravel. I want you to tell me if I've gone too far. But Yashar, is there a golden nugget of info that we can give away to the audience?
There is. I mean, donation links are great. Sponsorship links are great too.
Yeah.
High end, very, very high end sponsorship links. Let me give you a tip. If you go on majestic.com right now and search 01casinos.net, you'll see that site has spent at least $50,000 and is paying per year, per month for these links.
What?
And guess what?
Say that domain name again.
01casinos.net. That is not our site.
Casinos.net. It's not you. It's a random website that you happen to have done some research on, and they're acquiring links at an exponential rate, I think you're saying.
Right. So they're paying like PHPMyAdmin, Vim.org, all these huge sites, open source software sites, and they're in the casino niche. And they spent tons of money, and guess what? They're not ranking for anything. Go on SEMrush, you'll see the past 3 or 4 months, they would rank for anything at all. And the reason for this is, and what we've seen, is a lot of the sites that are doing donation links and all that stuff, they're not ranking. And the reason for that is, and what we've seen success with is, you have to buy niche relevant links. This sites in the casino niche, they should be focusing on, while it's harder to get links like that, instead of getting links in the open source software and the software computers niche, that's not going to help you at all. While 1 or 2 may be good, if you have a link profile that's mostly in your niche already, 1 or 2 of these non-relevant links but very powerful links may help you. But we spent competitors spent like $50K. We spent like $3,000 on more niche relevant links, and we're outranking them by landslides. So
okay, so let's hold on. I'm going to dive in there because you said earlier on. But first off, let me say I agree with you. Topical relevancy and keeping the niche relevancy correct is the best way to get links. There's no 2 ways about it.
I just got a message. Someone told me that you have to discuss Anchor. Well, I'm looking at the Facebook Live. My face is like super zoomed in. I hadn't realized that. Okay, sorry. Continue.
You look good, Yashar. You look good. I've not looked at the Facebook Live. I don't know what it looks like, but I know that I'm talking to you and I'm enjoying every moment of it. So I'm going to say to you, someone messaged you and said what? You've got to talk about...
You must talk about anchor text.
Okay, well, let's talk about anchor text. I've heard that anchor text is what helps the search engines find their way and to deliver some rankings. But I think you may have a difference of opinion. Tell me, Yashar. Am I right? Am I wrong? What does anchor text mean in the modern search algorithm?
So I agree with you in that sense, but at least for me personally, I think people worry way too much about anchor text. People have like whole posts, the anchor text 2016 method guide of the year. Like, what? No, like there's no one size fits all anchor text method. For me at least personally, and this has never failed me, as long as you're not blasting your main keyword for every single link, you should not worry about anchor text. In the natural world. In natural world, when real sites acquire links, they can't control the anchor text of the links they place. And so you shouldn't worry either. As long as you're not using your main keyword and not making it obvious that you're a spammer, don't worry about anchor text. And this has never failed me. The more powerful links, I use my main anchor text. The less powerful ones, Web 2.0, stuff like that, I use the sites that I don't control, that are less powerful. I use, generic anchor text, lower my site URL, and that helps them get approved on those properties. My more powerful ones, where I use my anchor text, that's just how it is. And this never failed me. I don't worry about percentages. I don't keep an Excel spreadsheet of all the links I built and the math and all that stuff. That's too much. It never failed me.
So let me ask you this. Let me say before you go on, I agree, by the way. I think that focusing on building links is more important than building a specific anchor text links. However, not everyone's going to agree, and that's fine, because having different opinion is a good thing, because the world is full of millions of us, billions of us, and many of us are all trying to compete to rank, and there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers. How important is anchor text when we talk about the industry specifically? And by that I mean, is there a difference when we talk about casinos as an example compared to, I don't know, fluffy coats for cats? I'm trying to think of something really random. Does it become more important the more competitive, or is it we should just ignore it all in general and just build links generally?
It's not something you should ignore outright, but people focus too much energy on it. What I think is have a look at the sites in your niche, see what they're doing, see what the natural sites are doing. As long as you're somewhere within that range, don't worry about anchor text. The more powerful links use remain anchor text, the less powerful ones that you don't control use generic anchor text. And that and the second part, the ones that you don't control, the less powerful ones, like blog comments and forum profiles, that also helps get approved. When you drop a blog comment with your main anchor text, that looks spammy. If you drop it with a URL only, bare URL, that looks less spammy. So it's kind of rational to think about it in a more, what do people see, instead of, oh, this is the exact 2016 method for anchor text.
Yeah,
which
look, we're in agreement.
I don't.
We're in agreement. Okay, look, we're coming up to the hour, and Facebook's got a maximum live streaming thing of just over an hour, so we're going to have to wind this down. However, I want to say to you at this point, thank you, Yashar. Thank you from me, thank you from the audience, because this has been a glorious call and I've enjoyed every moment. But I'm also going to throw the presenter role over to you, and the interviewer role over to you. I purposely generally sit this side of the table because I don't want to answer the questions, I don't want to give away anything. But if you were the interviewer today, would you ask me anything?
What are you... I'm not... Tell me if this is too far, but what are your views on negative SEO?
What are my views on negative SEO? That's a really good question, and I'm not sure if I want to answer, but I will. I'll answer it in a roundabout way. I'm waffling at the moment as I'm cogitating what I'm going to say. Negative SEO is something that's very, very real, and it's occurred since, well, at least the age of the search engines, long before Google. There's an old and very famous British SEO. I'm not going to mention his name out of respect to him, but he had a saying: get to number 100 and take out the 99 on top of you. Now, that was half joking, but it's also very real. Negative SEO, there are techniques and there are methods that work. However, many of them are arguably also illegal. And for me, the line that will always be drawn is one of law. I will not break the law in the work that I do for myself, for my clients, or for anyone else. I'm not a criminal. I will, however, push the moral envelope as far as I can. And sometimes that may include reputational management type thing, which is kind of the same challenge. There's an issue with a client who has a site that's ranking, and generally when we're talking reputational management, it's generally someone who's either been caught with their hand in the till pinching money or their trousers around the ankles, and they don't like these phrases and results that are documenting that. And so negative SEO can be looked at positive SEO with lots of sites rather than just the one. Or, whereas what I think you actually meant is about removing and demoting sites by promoting others around. It's how you frame it rather than necessarily what you do. Is that a fair answer, Yashar?
I'm happy with it.
You're happy with it?
Yeah. I mean, what if you were to share, what is one actionable method that someone can take away today and use that is pushing the moral guidelines, but still within most, I mean, let's say UK and US law, that is still legal?
That's still legal? No. I'm not prepared to answer that. And I'm sure that my next guest on the next show is probably going to take that mantle and push it a little bit further and ask me that again, and I'll probably give the same answer. Negative SEO is very real, whether we're talking lots of bad backlinks, whether it be that, if we can imagine there's such a thing as a golden link, imagine a lead link that does the complete opposite. They exist. Just as that one golden link can deliver those rankings zooming to the very top, there's those leaden links that can do the complete opposite. Find them.
Sorry about that. Someone just messaged me saying, delve deeper on negative SEO, keep it going on for longer than an hour.
Yeah, well, we can't. We were up to 1 hour. We're at 59 minutes and 46 seconds. So look, I'm not saying we won't do this again. We can do this again. If you're up for it. Yashar, would you like to do this again and carry on from where we were?
Sure, yeah.
Well, I've enjoyed every minute of it. And so everyone that's tuned in, I want to say thank you for your time. So come back and hear Yashar myself, and my future guests as we chat here on W3 Wisdom. That's facebook.com W3 Wisdom. Don't forget our sponsors. Yashar and I may disagree about them being the best links that you can acquire, but for me, I think they are. Yashar, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll chat after this, and I'm sure we may chat for another 10-15 minutes. But to everyone who's tuned in, I want to say thank you for taking your time, and especially Yashar, thank you for taking your time out of the day. You're an exceptional man, young man, and I'm sure you're going to carry on doing exceptional things. You're a real inspiration to me, and I'm sure to many of the listeners as well. Yashar, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, everyone. Take care, and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.